Hi, I'm John Mitchell with this week's Honda Tech Tip. I'm joined today with Kenny Germain and Ron Wood, and together we're going to show you how to set sag. Sag is very important. It's often overlooked. First, you want to take a measurement from a spot on the subframe to a spot on the swing arm, making sure to use the exact same spots all the time. This measurement here is 580. So then you want to have the rider set on the bike off the stand, and someone will have to help hold him up. He wants to put the full weight of his body on the bike. Then measuring from the exact same spot, you'll want to measure again, and you come up with 480, so you have a difference of 100 millimeters. That is your race sag. It's very important to stay within the manufacturer's recommendations for your height and weight. And I'm John Mitchell with this week's Honda Tech Tip.
Well, those Honda guys definitely had the sag set right here in the first 250 moto at Unadilla. 4 out of the top 5 riding on the CRs, and they were led by Ricky Carmichael. Well, before we do the second moto, let's take a look behind the scenes with this week's Racer X Pit Pass.
So Cameron, I mean, how do you like the track today? Paris the car winner, Danny Laporte.
The track is actually kind of rough.
Hello, I'm Mike LaRocco. Come on in. This is the living room. Actually, all this furniture I got from a race I did in Italy. They used to call it the Fast Cross. And our next stop is the dining room. Same kind of deal. The table came from the same race in Italy. And the kitchen, you know, the kitchen. Not a whole lot going on here, but eating. Then we have the game room, which most of the stuff happens right there with the PlayStation 2. This is my gym. This is where I try to put it all together and make things happen. I enjoy working out, so I took the time and made the effort to have a place I, enjoy to do it. A couple of rooms and the cardio, and I blew up my stereo trying to get ready for Red Bud, so I got that fixed. The office, this is kind of my deal. When I need my time, I come down here and get done what I need to get done. When all the work's done, I come down here to play. Me and my son, Ryder. Ryder, gonna show him the mini bike track. We'll step out of the house and, head in the backyard and burn some laps. And I'd just like to thank you guys for coming out and show me my place.
David Bailey, that is a nice house for Mr. LaRocco.
It is. He's been doing well, and, he's into designing and stuff, and nice gym, too, by the way. The girls, they like to have a big kitchen, and we're into gyms and garages.
Before we get ready for the second moto, let's go down the starting line where Cameron Steele has got everyone queued up.
The boys are loading the gate for moto number 2, and you can see behind me the number 900 Plano Honda bike of Josh Coppins. I talked to him in between motos, and he said he wasn't surprised how fast Ricky Carmichael was. He was surprised at how fast all the guys were as a whole. Here in America, he says all 40 riders are much faster than the total group over in Europe for the GPs. He's currently running second in the GPs, a fifth in moto number 1. He's pretty psyched, but in Europe, they only race one moto, 35 minutes. So he may be a little tired, but his mechanic says he definitely has the will to try to perform. We'll see if he can come through with another top 5 finish.
Well, this will be a good test of what Coppins is made of. He's about to double his workload. As you can see, the Unadilla track getting rougher. As we take a look at our Suzuki starting line for the second moto, Carmichael, Loracco, and Ferry, the three members of Team USA, John Dowd, Sebastian Tortelli. A little further down, privateers like Kevin Krein, Clark Stiles, Ryan Clark, and Damian Plotz, who put in a solid 9th place finish in that first moto. Excellent ride on the open class Honda. Tyler Evans a little further down, and rounding out the field, John Borup. Now, the cart is getting ready to go sideways here at the second moto. The pursuit of Ricky Carmichael enters its 16th stage. As the cart is sideways, they are getting ready to light off. And there they come out from behind the big Dunlop banner right up the middle. It looks like it's going to be Carmichael. That guy can't do anything wrong.
It's amazing. Lusk also with a good start. We got to give him credit on the two-stroke, getting a great start. But so many 450s now, and Carmichael's still able to get great starts. And besides his technique and his will to get that start, it helps that he's so light.
Coming up the inside, number 41 is Heath Voss on the Blackfoot Racing Honda. Lusk is third. Guy Cooper was fourth. And Carmichael coming out of Gravity Cavity. Classic Ricky Carmichael off the back, hanging on wide open. Now Tim Ferry has moved up into fourth place. Ferry, the sole Yamaha rider here today. David Billman back in France having that shoulder worked on.
David Billman, of course, one of the riders who could give Ricky a problem on a track like this. And Voss, I want to talk about, I was thinking he was on the four-stroke. I forgot the fact that he's been riding a 250, so a great start for him as well, getting out in front of all those powerful bikes. He's got Lusk all over him, but what an opportunity for Voss right now to try to get close to Ricky a little bit and get used to that pace.
Right now, Voss holding off a string of factory riders. Lusk in third on the Chevy trucks Kawasaki. Ferry is in fourth on the Yamahas. They go up around the top section. They're getting ready to take the plunge. A new section they had a couple years ago here at Unadilla. Way down the bottom of the hill. Now they're in that fast bottom section, and this is where it just becomes a battle of courage.
This is where Ezra needs to make his pass.
Right up along the inside, Voss is going to have the low section going to the next corner, and Voss is going to hold him off, and looks like no, Lusk makes the pass on the outside.
I was going to say, he needs to get around him quick. If Carmichael were back there, he would have made the pass by then, or maybe sooner, and that's what's allowing him to get around. Voss, of course, doing great, but not quite up to the pace that Lusk is capable of, and Ezra needed to get around him, get out of that roost, and try to stay in contact with Carmichael before he's so far gone he can't see him.
Up over the hill, Lusk in second, Voss third, and Nick Way has made a pass on Ferry in the fourth, and now he's getting a little bit of pressure from his teammate Kyle Lewis as they get down to the bottom of the wall, back up one of the steepest hills in motocross, not as long as the one at Glen Helen, but certainly just as steep. There goes Lusk. Here is Voss, and next will be the two Moto XXX riders, Way and Lewis.
This must be so cool for Voss to get up there and run up front, see the leaders. I remember as a privateer to be able to get a start like that and know you got about 10 guys behind you. It'd normally be tough to beat. There goes Ferry again, back into fourth. It's a thrill, you know, and to be able to see the leaders, not just come in from the moto and hear about it. Man, you should have seen Carmichael, and there's a great battle, or hear the crowd. To be able to get up in there and actually see that is a real thrill for a guy like Voss right now.
And I should mention that Voss rode for Blackfoot Racing here in the Supercross Series, but this summer he's with Mach 1 on a privateer Honda, and right now he's holding on to third, but here comes Ferry.
Well, what he's going to get is a lesson in how to go fast out here, or a little bit faster than he's going. Ferry will get around him. I'm not sure about these guys. Loracco probably will.
And there you caught a glimpse of Loracco. He was battling with Coppins for 7th. Tortelli is in 8th, and Robbie Raynard is in 9th. So most of the key players right here in the top 10 off the start. Here comes Ferry down along the bottom, tracking Voss, looking for a way around the privateer Honda.
You can see Ferry trying to stay out of that roost just a few feet to one side or the other.
250, 400, doesn't matter here, does it? Those rocks hurt.
Yeah, the 125s throw up a big roost here, and if you just get a rock tossed up and it hits you in the shoulder, I mean, it could give you a Charlie horse to the point where your arm goes numb and you can't even hold on for the next few corners. There goes Ferry finally.
Ferry goes out around the outside of Voss, passing him on the opposite side of where Lusk did the lap before. So resetting the top part of the pack, Carmichael is your leader. Lusk is second, Ferry is third. Then comes Voss, and behind them, Tortelli, Loracco, Way, and Raynard, all giving pursuit. We will be right back to Unadilla. Welcome back to New Berlin, New York, the second 250 moto of the Unadilla National, and this is the battle for second. Ezra Lusk out front on the Kawasaki. Tim Ferry coming up behind him. This is the same section where Ferry was able to pass Boston. He goes out to the outside and a little further off that jump, and just like that, he moves into second.
Ezra knew it too. As soon as he dropped into that left-hander right there, he's like, man, I should have covered that.
Up over the big tabletop. This is another recent addition. Ferry goes after a tear-off, and then you have a ways back from Lusk to your fourth place rider, and that is Mike LaRocco. Not quite the start he got in the first moto, but he has worked his way into fourth. Heath Voss, the privateer, in fifth, and a little ways back should be Tortelli on the factory Honda. David, how do you make this pass?
Just more speed around the outside. Ezra felt like he had to protect that inside. If he'd have drifted out to Ferry's line, we thought Ferry might have got in there, but you just can't go quite as fast around the right side of that sweeper. Plus, you don't have the inside into this corner right here. So it's just good thinking by Ferry, and you know, there was really nothing much that Lusk could do about that. He felt like he was in a bad situation. He was in a bad situation.
A little further back, Tortelli was actually in 8th place, and he has just passed Josh Coppins for 7th, and Coppins comes back with a little block pass. That's Raynard behind him, 3 250 Hondas. Raynard, or rather Tortelli, goes around the outside, and he passes Coppins. David, does Coppins look tired?
I don't think he's tired. I think he's just kind of having fun out here, just looking at the way these guys race and learn a little bit. It's actually not a big deal for him to get passed by 3 or 4 guys. He needs to ride behind him and check him out. He's not going to learn anything being in front of him, so it's not a points race for him. He's here to train and learn, and no better way than to get mixed up in these guys. It'd be better if he could hang with Carmichael, but he's learning a lot more this way.
5 Hondas in a row. Voss, Lewis, Tortelli, Raynard, and Coppins, and make that 6 Hondas, because here comes Nathan Ramsey. Ramsey, 10th place on the Honda CRF 450R. Actually, is the only thumper in that set. Now, here's the pass Tortelli made on Coppins.
Just wide open around the outside, more momentum going. I'm tired of this guy coming from the GPs and making me look bad. That's the end of that. He looks over to make sure he's got him clear, cuts back to the inside. And look at the Carmichael. That berm isn't very deep. It's only a few inches deep. He just lays the bike in there, just about drags the handlebar anyway. See if Ferry does it.
Ferry just caught a glimpse of him. You see him tracking a little slower, gets on the pipe quick, and this is the battle for third now. Lusk on the inside, LaRocco going around the outside, and LaRocco got down there in the loose stuff and lost a lot of time.
I just didn't want to follow Ezra, I don't think, that time. Ezra laid it into that berm as well, so the top few guys are getting into that rut a lot faster than they did in the old days. Bikes are stick like glue nowadays. The way the suspension is set up, the way they're balanced, power isn't that much different. It's just better power all the way through the range.
Here comes LaRocco along the inside. Now, David, you mentioned the track looking smoother earlier. The more I watch it, I keep waiting for it to tack up like the old Unadilla, but it's kind of fast and smooth out there.
It sure is. And, you know, it's not as wet as it used to be, and it seemed like we always came here after a rain and it got really rough. The motors are shorter, the bikes are better, and it's dry soil out here. It's not getting as rough and just bringing up more rocks.
Also, Ward and Greg Robinson, the proprietors here, they don't have to put up with the amateur day or so many qualifying races because the national field's been cut down. Now, while we were talking about the track, LaRocco makes a pass for third on Lusk. So now we have the same order, at least 1, 2, 3 that we had in the first moto. Carmichael, Ferry, LaRocco, and Lusk has replaced Tortelli as the 4th place rider.
This was a good opportunity for Lusk to say, hey, I should have been on that MX The Nations team by not letting Ferry by and not letting LaRocco by back there. We couldn't hang on to it, and I'm inclined to think here with the way LaRocco's charging that wrist is feeling a lot better.
LaRocco down off the plunge on the big factory connection Honda. Next in his sights will be Tim Ferry's Yamaha, and beyond that you have to look across Unadilla Valley to get a glimpse at Ricky Carmichael.
Ezra still running that inside right there, but that time I think he was just doing it to stay out of the roost of LaRocco.
Here comes Raynard around the outside of Heath Voss. He was one of our front runners earlier, but Voss has started to drop back a little bit. Let's take a look at that pass LaRocco made on Lusk.
Well, Ezra's just trying to protect that inside, and LaRocco used that nice soft berm around the outside. He's able to come into the corner a lot harder, puts him into the inside in the next corner, and makes his mechanic happy, making the pass right in front of him.
Ricky Carmichael, your leader, riding across the top of the hill, get ready to drop down into the famous gravity cavity. And that is a lapped rider. You have to look all the way back here for Tim Ferry. Ferry not quite on Carmichael's pace, but he's certainly putting in a good ride this afternoon.
Yeah, Ricky's bummed that the lead isn't bigger. Usually that would be second, or even further back. I mean, he's had 32, 35-second leads throughout this series. So these guys are getting a little bit closer, but I wonder how hard Ricky's charging.
Down in the gravity cavity, LaRocco continues to lead Lusk as we get into the closing stages here of the second 250 moto.
I don't think Lusk's lines are good enough. You know, he's going inside.
Is he looking for smooth spots?
I don't know. He's in shape. He doesn't need to dodge bumps, but I think he should learn a little bit from Ferry and LaRocco, who just came by him, and start sort of sampling some of their lines. Obviously, what he's doing isn't working, so change something before Tortelli catches.
Tortelli definitely having an off day. Fourth in the first moto. Now he's running fifth. Reynard in sixth. Voss. And here comes Nathan Ramsey. Had a bad first moto himself, and now he's trying to catch up with Voss. And there you see Coppins, our fifth place finisher, the first time out. Keep in contact with some of the U.S. factory riders, but not quite on the same pace he was in the first moto, but still pretty impressive ride for number 2 in the GPs.
Yeah, this is a great field trip for him. Good training day. He gets to ride with all these guys and check it out. And I wonder, is this really a European track anymore? I mean, I haven't seen what's going on in Europe, but this might be a little... He was surprised by the pace of everyone, but the reason everyone's going so fast is because it's nowhere near as rough as it used to be.
Well, we talked about the lower amount of riders here at Unadilla. In Europe, there's only 30 riders per class. They run one moto. The tracks up there have gotten a lot smoother. Now, Ramsey having a time of it with the Mach 1 Honda of Heath Voss, but he goes around the outside, takes over 7th place. So it's Ramsey, Voss, and Coppins, 7, 8, and 9 as they drop down into the bottom part of the track.
You can see rocks bouncing off the front of Voss's bike. Everywhere these guys go, even if it's their favorite line, they've got to switch it to stay out of that roost.
Speedboat's presentation of AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Honda, performance first. And by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. Ricky Carmichael down into the back section. When he comes out this time, he will get the white flag here at Unadilla Valley Sports Center, and it will be 16 straight moto wins. That's 2 more than the all-time record, and he's making it look easy.
Everything's just working for him. He's able to just mess around and kind of play on the track and find different lines. Look at the fans, look around at the battle for second. He rides so aggressive in the first few laps and opens up a lead that these guys just kind of give up, figuring, well, even if we did catch him, he would just go faster and pull away again. Well, they don't know that for you know, they're not certain. They've got to get up there and race with him and find out. That's what he did to Jeremy McGrath in Supercross, and it worked.
David, going back a few years, you won 8 nationals in a row in a 500cc series. Does he have pressure on him right now? I mean, you were there with Brock Glover.
Well, I had to really fight for that with Brock, but still, I mean, I look at those 8, overall wins that I had actually in a row, and they split the classes 3 ways. We had 125, 250, and 500. He's got a little bit more competition. It's a little deeper, and the way he has done it by winning every single moto. I won 16 motos that season, but not in a row. This is just getting ridiculous.
Carmichael undefeated this year, and you know what? Looking back, he's been undefeated since last August 1st, and that was the day he lost the Washougal National to Kevin Windham. He went 2-2 that afternoon, and it's been a year since then. Ricky Carmichael has won 11 straight nationals up to today, and that is another record that no one's ever even thought about as a record.
Every time he gets on the bike, it's a record. It seems like these days. I mean, all the records that we thought were just unbreakable, he's breaking them all. The all-time win record, I'm sure he'll have. He could probably go after Jeremy's 72 Supercross wins if he wanted. I mean, he's led, what, like 150 laps
in a row?
Consecutive? Yeah, ridiculous.
See the Honda crew giving him the go-ahead. This would be Ricky Carmichael's 50th career national win. That's a full dozen more than the next guy, and that would be Bob Hanna. Carmichael down into the soft stuff. climbs the wall one last time. The lap riders looking at him. They don't know it, but they're kind of a part of history. But like you said, David, they're getting used to it. Every time he's on the track, it seems like he breaks a record. Down into the bottom one last time. Ricky Carmichael, 16 moto wins in a row, 8 national moto wins in a row, and the undefeated season continues here at Unadilla. He said this would be the over the hump race, and guess what? He is over the hump. Waiting for Tim Ferry, the second place rider, to come across the line. There he is, kind of like a victory, but you know, Tim ain't going to go like that. He would rather be up there beating Carmichael. A 2-2 on the day, a great afternoon, but not what Tim Ferry expects of himself. Mike LaRocco finishes third once again, so 1, 2, and 3 the same in both the first and second moto. Lusk is second, and Tortelli is third. Josh Coppins able to gut out an 8th place finish. Now let's go down the winner's circle, where actually Cameron Steele has our second place rider, Tim Ferry.
Mike LaRocco, Mike who finished third.
Tim Ferry, second overall, second both motos. Got to be getting tired of second.
Yeah, I'm definitely tired of it, but I've had a rough couple of weeks, and this is a starting point for me. And a lot better starts this week. The Yamaha 4-strokes can get me off the gate today, awesome, and I got to give a lot of credit to them. And really, it was a good ride for me. The last couple of weeks have had a lot of crashes, and this is a good, solid finish for me.
Well, I was talking to your mechanic, BK, earlier, and he says you're one of the hardest training guys there is. You ride all the time, and he says it's coming. You believe it?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I've been, been trying to step it up and, working with Jeff Spencer the last 2 years, and my conditioning and my speed has definitely come up a lot, compared to 3 years ago. So I'm really happy with my progress, and it was cool. All the motocross destination guys finishing the podium today, and I think we got a really good team, and looking forward to that race.
Right on. Congratulations on another great ride today in Unadilla.
All right, thank you.
Taking a look at the point standings, Carmichael with a perfect score of 400. Ferry is 93 back, and Mike LaRocco's moved up to a tie for 7th. He's with Cameron.
Off to the races, but again,
Mike LaRocco, you've been racing here for a long time, 2 thirds today and a 3rd overall. Was the track rougher or nicer than it usually is?
It seemed pretty good today, actually. The conditions I thought were good. Excellent day for racing. The track was good.
With the track being a little smoother, it probably wasn't as tough on the wrist, but talk about your overall health and how things have been going. I know we talk about it all the time, but everybody at home wants to see a 100% Mike LaRocco. Again, the wrist bothering you this weekend.
I actually took a step back last week. I hurt it in the second moto, but honestly, it got sore, but I could ride the whole moto, and it's fine. I just, probably a few weeks away from being 100%, but I'm really not using that excuse. I just got to get my pace up and, ride these races.
Right on. We look forward to you getting that pace up. It should be a fun race when you get up there with Ricky.
We'll see what happens.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, as the crowd filters out, it's not hard to figure out who the top 3 were. Carmichael 1-1, Ferry 2-2, LaRocco 3-3. Tortelli takes 4th overall. Josh Coppins 1 visit, good for 6. Here's Cameron with our winner.
Well, right on, guys. We're down here with your overall champion today, Ricky Carmichael, 16 moto wins in a row. And Ricky, you basically do it right from the start. I see you still got all your tear-offs on your goggles. Amazing ride today, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Cameron. I'll tell you, the Honda's working awesome today. It's really, really fast. It was the fastest 2-stroke out here today. This is kind of 4-stroke heaven. It's really fast and not too technical, so it's a horsepower track. But this Honda was unbelievable, man. And got some good starts today. The tires were hooking up great, and I'm ecstatic to keep the ball rolling, definitely.
Well, you tie the overall start with motos, not motos, but overall wins with Hannah. It's a 24-year-old record. The records just keep falling.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I tell you, I didn't expect to do as good as I've done this year. I've been doing the same thing this year as I was doing last year, and I'll tell you, man, it just feels awesome to win here at a track that I believe is more of an advantage to a 4-stroke. I think the next 4 races are going to be good for me.
Right on. We look forward to him. Ricky Carmichael, your champion here today. Another win for the record books.
Well, Carmichael is 2/3 of the way to the perfect season coming up. More rounds. Can he stay undefeated? For more information, log on to usmotocross.com. Well, David, the records keep falling to Carmichael. I hate to tell you, but I think he's got all of yours, but you still lead him on years. You've got the age thing.
Thanks a lot. I think I can hold him off in that department. As he gets closer to sweeping the season, he's going to feel like McGrath did back in '96 with all that pressure. If he can keep his cool, he should be able to go all the way.
Well, for David Bailey and Cameron Steele, I'm Davey Coombs saying so long, everyone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Down the Scott Autobahn they come. Onto the inside. Oh, and Chad Reed messes, and he stops him. Chad Reed goes down. They're stuck together. Stewart can't get his bike on. There he goes. Chad Reed, an unforced error, and he just gave the lead back to James Stewart. James Stewart went on from that pass to claim his 5th overall win and open a commanding 55-point lead in the 125 National Championship battle. Now the hallowed grounds of Unadilla await the championship leader as Bubba Stewart makes his first ever visit to upstate New York. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Unadilla Valley Sports Center in New Berlin, New York, for the 8th round of the 2002 AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championships. Hello, everyone. I'm Davey Coombs. Joining me is former champion David Bailey and Cameron Steele. And do we have a good one for you this afternoon? It's Unadilla, and that means old-fashioned GP motocross, exactly what Chad Reed needs if he's going to catch up with James Stewart. In the point standings right now, Stewart is 55 ahead, but everyone thinks this track favors Reed. Earlier, Cameron Steele asked James about that.
Well, guys, I've caught up with the 120.